So the energy sector is about to make a really big move to the upside. Also, King Russell is about to make an all-time new high. We've got gold. Gold is probably going to have a very short-term bit of a drop here. Coming with that, it's the same for silver as well too. Also, oil. Look at oil. Oil is about to make a really big movement on the downside, and we've got so much more. Got Bitcoin, got so much more. Even the long-term interest rates. Look at this massive rounding top with the interest rate. If you do need some help, guys, I've opened up 10 spots to my 12-month Inner Circle coaching program. If you go to getjohnshelp.com, see it, link in the description there. You can see all the details about that, where you actually have 12 months worth of private detailed coaching from there. Go check it out. So let's actually start off with the interest rates here. This is something that I've been really watching for quite some time here. Okay, so one of the really big things I've been watching for is the interest rates. And obviously I've been watching the Fed's funds rate. So this is the Fed's funds rate here. As you can see, we've gone up and down, and yeah, you can see the last couple of cycles through here. So what's been happening through here is this, right? We've actually been making all of these points all through here. Here, and now we obviously had this point through here. But check this out. This is actually quite interesting. So one thing I've been watching for quite some time is here. Ever since 2022, we had this the short-term rates, which is the 2-year, right, come up through here, and we've actually been in this really squeezing up pattern all through here, as you can see, right? So we had this moving up through here, and a moving up through, and we actually broke down. We broke down, and we broke up. So what's probably going to come next after this? You know, what's that? 1, 2, almost 3 years worth of almost 3 years now worth of a big massive rounding top. I believe we're starting to do this, and we're about to start to see something like that coming out of the 2-year rate. So the 2-year rate is probably going through. If I look at the other interest rates, say such as the 30-year, we can also see that there's potential weakness on the downside. So as you can see, I've got my little trend line, jewelry, sticky thingamajiggy going on, all right? And one thing that I can see here is, look at this here. So we have this point through here, right? And we have this point through here. One thing that is important for me is whenever I'm looking at these analysis of markets, one of the big things is that in an upward trend, we have these higher lows in place. So low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and a higher low through here, right? So we have the higher lows in place. One of the big things is that sometimes the really big key for me is in an upward trend, as long as we're making higher lows, or sometimes we can come down, make a bit of a double bottom in an upward trend through here. So we can see we've had this upward trend through here. We've created this 1, 2 bottom through here, but we actually didn't break the low. If we actually came down and broke the low like this, like the 2-year did, as you can see, look at this here. So what are the 2-year? Low, low, and the low was actually broken through there. So that's actually broken through the low. That means this overall bull market is over. If I go to the 30-year rates, you can see here, this 30-year rates, you can see that we have this level through here and this level all through here as well too, right? So we can see we have these sort of a bit of a double bottom going on right now on the rates. We're starting to create these lower highs here, but or should I say, that just tells me that there's really not much. There's a bit of an indecision what's the long-term rate's going to happen here, right? So if the long-term rate, say the 30-year, does start to do something like this, and we have a bit of a drop, which we are right now, right? And if I bring up, this is the weekly charts. If I bring up the daily charts to the right, as you can see, look what's happening with the daily charts are starting to come down through here. So if indeed this weekly chart to the left over here does start to do something like this on the weekly charts, on these rates, through there, then that to me will create a really big, massive rounding top on the long-term rate, such as the 30-year. And then we're probably going to start to see a really big movement on the downside from there as well too, right? And then also the 10-year as well too, right? So the 10-year, as you can see, I've already got this. If I bring up my weekly charts here, I was doing some analysis on this before. And as you can see, so we had this low here, but we had this breaking of the low here. So we had this low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We actually broke the low. That means this overall upward trend. And I know it sounds crazy, guys, right? It's like we're doing technical analysis on trends, right? But as you can see, this is what markets do, right? As you can see, even from a interest rate perspective, what does the market do? When we're in a downward trend, we create, lower highs all the way down, and so on and so forth, right? So that tells me right now that it does look like this breaking of this significant low and then coming back up through here. It does look like that we could actually start to see possibly quite a strong movement on the downside when it comes to these interest rates here happening on the 10-year. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys. Let's go check out let's go check out the energy sector, right? So let's go check out this one here, right? So this is the energy sector from here. And this energy sector, I'm actually really starting to get quite excited about the energy sector. I think there's going to be quite a nice trade for me personally on the energy sector, and I'll share with you exactly what I'm looking for. And when it comes to actually my trading system here, so one thing I can see here is the first thing you can see here. Forget the moving averages for a minute, okay? Sometimes we can rely on the moving averages too much. They give me a bit of a gauge, a bit of a guide, but the most important thing for me is rule number one is what's the actual trend of any market here. And so if I'm looking to get into a trade, which I do, I trade the daily charts, right? So I'm looking to get in on the daily charts here. I'm always looking for the weekly chart to give me the big trend. The big trend is like the big wave, right? It's like the overall big current. It's like a surfer, right? If you're looking to jump on a really big wave and ride it for a long time, what do you want to do? Do you want to go with the overall big current, or do you want to try and go against that? Well, obviously we want to go with the big current, right? And so the big current, or the big waves, the really big waves, and then the big current and the big momentum of that, say that beach for that time, if we can see that it's pretty strong in one direction, then we want to go with that, right? Because that's going to give us the best chances of actually sort of jumping on the next wave. And because that's all, if you think about markets, right, that's all waves do, right? We have a really good wave that comes up and then we get off and then we hold for a while and then we go for the next big wave and then we hold for a while, right? What is this? And this just creates what? This just creates the lows, higher lows, and also higher lows through here, right? So we could see that through there. So the most important thing for me is when I'm looking at the markets is for me to have the best chances of jumping on a really big trade, I want to be going with what's called the higher time frame trend. So if I'm looking to get in on, say, the daily charts here for an entry signal, I want to make sure that I'm checking the weekly charts to make sure I'm trading with that big trend, because that big trend comes high probability, and also it gives you the best chances of trying to find a trade that's likely to give you a big move, because we're going with the overall market. And one thing we can see through here is, look at this through here. You can see that, and this is where it's really interesting. Whenever we do this here, right? Now, in an upward trend, the most important part is that as long as we make higher lows, what can happen sometimes is there's a few scenarios when we're talking about trend analysis here. And I'm utilizing this because a few scenarios that we can see. We see from the interest rate perspective, we can see in different markets perspective. And people think they know about trend analysis, but they don't know the detailed depth analysis about trend analysis in the markets. So let's actually go through this here. So I want to teach you this here. So there's a few different scenarios that can happen through here, right? Remember, in an upward trend, as long as we're making higher lows, or even the same lows are exactly what we're looking for. And what can happen sometimes is we do this, right? It comes up, makes a higher low, comes up, comes down, makes a higher low, comes back up, comes down, makes a higher low, comes back up, comes down, makes a higher low. So we're not making higher highs here, are we? See how we got this high here, high here. See how they're the same highs. But in an upward trend, what's the most important part? The most important part is these higher lows. And what does that mean? That just simply means that even though there's a bit of resistance there from the highs, the most important part, if we're in an upward trend, we want to be tracking the lows, not really the high points. And as you can see, low, higher low, still making higher lows, still making higher lows, still making higher lows, right? So that's the most important part there. And the reason why I'm drawing this here is if I'm trying to see where is the overall big momentum, if I'm trying to jump in on a really good trade on the XLE, which by the way, when I show you the oil chart, some of you traders are going to get really confused about, John, that doesn't make sense. How can XLE be getting ready for a big move to the upside, but oil is getting ready to drop? They look nothing like each other. Okay, so look at oil for the last 2 years. And look at look at the energy sector, right? The energy sector is about to break up to all-time new high, and we've been squeezing up there where gold's been going down, right? So you don't want to be making the big mistake of correlating those trades. So anyway, so looking at this, what we have here, the XLE, as you can see, look at this here. So we have this low point through here. And you can see we've just been making these high lows, didn't we? High lows, come up, come down. There's another high low, come up, come down, high low, and there's another high low there, right? So as you can see that even though we had these sort of these drops through here, and this is where a lot of big mistake that for a lot of people that are sort of amateur in the markets, and that's not if you've been trading the market, say, for less than 5 years, a lot of big mistakes that people make is that when the market's going down, they're focusing on the down leg and focusing on what's the trend, and a lot of people can get really stuck into it. It's like, oh, the market's going down, right? And if I draw this through here, they see these down legs through here. What a lot of traders think is they think these down legs here is the start of the top and the market's just going to keep dropping. What they don't understand is they're focusing on the legs and not the overall markets, right? Because and this is where the rule number one is trend analysis, right? What is the trend of any particular market, and go with that. Because how does a trend actually form in the markets, right? We go up and then we have to get the pullback, the drop in the market to get the high low, right? And come up and then come back down through to here and get another high low, and away we go. Makes sense? So whenever we're looking at a market, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to get sort of emotionally drained in what's been happening. As you can see, this is a course of a couple of months or more, right? What's that? Maybe 2 or 3 months of coming down through here. And that's the reason why you don't want to get so trapped into the shorter term picture of what's happening here. What you want to be doing is you want to be trying to go down the path of, okay, where is what is this? Is this a trend change, or is this just making the trend, right? Because look at this here, this drop here, which could have been last a few months, this drop here, which could have lasted maybe a month or more. What is that doing? That's just making the trend, right? Because it's wave up, wave down, wave up, wave down. So that's the very first scenario we see. And the reason why I've drawn this here, because as you can see, this scenario all through here is exactly what this energy sector is doing right now. So that's that's a big picture on what I'm looking for, right? And I'm always looking for those. I'm always looking to go with the market, because increased success rate, increased high probability, and then also the chances, if I'm looking to jump in on a trade that's likely to have a big move, it's going to be going with the market, not against the market. So for me, I've just done my analysis on and this is how I do all my analysis all the time, right? I'm always looking at what's the big picture, which is the weekly charts. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to my daily charts, and I'm going to start to look for my trading pattern. Now, my personal trading pattern is what's called the L-shaped pattern, right? It's the L-shaped pattern to a strong moving average. And let me actually just show you this here. So see this 20 moving average? It could be the 20. So we can look at this here. So this perfect scenario for me would be this. See that resistance point through there, right? Now we had this resistance point back here. We had this resistance point. The market went up through here, and now we're getting a bit of a drop. We're probably not going to be doing much now for another couple of weeks, I would say, out of the energy sector, but there could be something amazing setting up. And now the perfect scenario for me to get into a trading opportunity is what's called the L-shaped pattern with a strong moving average and a large bar. All right, an L-shaped pattern, or an upside down L-shaped pattern, should I say, because the L-shaped pattern is down across. That's what I want to see in the actual market itself, right? So foundations for me is, am I trading with the longer term trend? Check. We just done that from the weekly chart. Now the second step for me is that now I'm looking to go in on the daily charts to look for my high probability trading pattern. See the differences here, guys? So the differences between me and I think a lot of people, and I've been trading the markets for 20 years, and my first probably 5, maybe even 10 years, I wasn't doing what I'm doing right now, right? I was horrible, right? Horrible. That's the reason why I was $250,000 in debt at one stage. So the big thing for me, right? The big thing is what I'm looking at here, and what I'm looking at from this perspective of trading the markets is you see that a lot of traders who are not making money, they have no plan of attack at all, right? And this is where, like, for you, right? For you guys, probably 90% of you traders right now are having a really bad year this year, right? Really bad year this year. And if you want to know how my trading year has gone this year, I've actually put up my real equity curve. If you go to getjohnshelp.com, that's the application to my coaching program, but I've actually shown you my real equity curve for this year. So if you want to see how I've done this year. And the purpose of me telling you this is that I realized for me, if I actually wanted to start to do really well from trading the markets and trading really well from the actual any market out there, that I had to actually start to model success. And the modeling success of the people who do really well out of trading is the foundations to their success is they have a trading setup or patterns that they like to trade because they know they have a high probability of trading it. That's the foundations. And if you're just trading based off a whim, based off a YouTube video, which a lot of you guys are, right? You're watching my YouTube video right now and you're looking what I'm going to say with gold soon and what I'm going to say with the Russell soon and so on and so forth. And then you're just trading based off that, which that's not long-term success, right? And so for me, as you can see, like I drill it down and the reason why I've been so successful this year, and I do have my losses, as you can see with my equity curve, I do have my losses, but you can increase your success rate by doing that, right? And so I had, for me, trading many years and not doing well, I came to a point where I had two situations here. One, my first situation was that I realized that if I actually wanted to start to do well out of trading myself, I had to start to become real serious and a bit more disciplined around that I'm actually the way that I'm actually trading. If I do want to actually trade well, because too many years I'd work, I'd save money, I put it into a trading account and I blow it up, and then I rinse, repeat, right? Work, save money, blow it up. Work, save money, blow it up, right? And so I realized that if I actually wanted to start to do well out of trading, I had to start trading it with a bit more respect and a bit more discipline of what I was actually doing in the markets. And that's when things really started to change for me, right? So back to what I'm talking about here when it comes to the energy sector is the energy sector, what I'm looking for an actual perfect setup is I'm now looking for the L-shaped pattern or the upside down L-shaped pattern. I'm looking for where the market goes up. We've actually got that here, right? Up through there. Then I'm looking for where the market goes sideways. I'm looking for this market that goes sideways through here. Then what I'm doing is I'm looking for, at least my green moving average. See my green moving average? I'm looking for my green moving average to come up through here somewhere, like this here, right? And so see this green moving average? I'm looking for the green moving average to come up like that through there. And then what I'm looking to do is let's actually do this here, right? And we'll make this green. Yep. So then what I'm looking for that to go through there, and then I'm looking for the market to have a really big strong breakout bar like that, right? So a nice little upside down L-shaped pattern, up sideways to a strong moving average, and then a large bar breaking through from there. And then especially if we can get that and we've got small volume all through here, see all that little small volume there? And then on the large bar, we have this really big increase in volume. It's the L-shaped pattern with a strong moving average. What's a strong moving average? It starts like this and ends like that, right? It's coming strong up to the upside. This one here, like that through there. And then I'm looking for the market to do this here. And then I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for something like that through there. The reason why I'm looking for that is that if I can get that with what I just walked you through, there's a high probability, no guarantees, right? There's a high probability that that's going to be the start of something really big in the markets from there. So let's go check out the Russell from here. And the King Russell for me, this has been one of my sort of faves for the entire year. And to me, it looks like, or it is, the Russell's about to break up to an all-time new high. So that tells me, as you can see here, right, like, and this is where, if we go back to trend analysis, right, and if you're using a lot of indicators on your chart, you're probably confused right now, right? Especially using 2 or 3 different indicators, you're confused right now. And that's the reason why, like, for me personally, my success rate and my understanding to the markets went straight up once I started to learn just simple things like, what's the trend on this big time frame chart? And okay, we're in an upward trend. Okay, what's the most important part to an upward trend? Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Oh, even though the Russell's been volatile, we've still been in an upward trend. That's why for a lot of you guys, you would know that for me, it's all about what? It's all been about King Russell, right? King Russell's been my sort of phase I've said through there. And the reason why I've been saying that is, one, because the King Russell has been lagging behind most other sectors out there. And what I'm talking about that, I'm talking about how if I bring up, say, the S&P 500, this is the 2021 or the end of 2021 high here, or actually, what's that? Yeah, this 2021, 2022 high here, and that's when it broke that high there. Dow, this was the high back here in 2021, right? Into 2022. Once it broke it, we made the move up, right? Same for the NQ. This was the high back here in 2021, 2022. It broke it there. We had a big move up. This is the high back here in 2021. We're about to break it here, right? So I always believe the Russell, the reason why I've been saying King Russell, is because I've always believed the Russell's going to play some catch up with the other indices. And we're starting to do that right now. And that's the reason why I personally have been long the Russell for most of this year. And I'm benefiting from this. So to me, it looks like the Russell's about to squeeze up. And as you can see, we've been making these higher lows all the way up. And to me, it looks like Russell's about to make a nice move to the upside from there. So a bit of overall market around the actual stock market itself. So we can see here that just by looking at the S&P did indeed come back down to this level of support. We had this low, higher lows through there, another higher low, came up, came down, found support, and broke to the upside. So S&P is really strong still through here. Same for the Nasdaq as well too. We're starting to slowly go back to the upside, but to me it looks like the Nasdaq's about to break up to all-time new high from there. And same for the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones actually did indeed it had this resistance level through here, and then we came down, found support through here, as you can see, and now we're pushing back to the upside. So really, and as you can see, look at this here, really strong higher lows through here. We've got the moving averages still strong, trending to the upside. And so this market's really, really, really strong right now, guys. And this is where, if you are trying to pick a top in the market, it's probably going to be very, very, very risky for you in the market here. Let's go check out oil right now. And oil, if we go look at oil from the weekly chart perspective, as you can see, look at this here from oil. And if I bring on my 24, there's my 24, right? We could see oil is still, and one thing that my sort of understandings of these markets and my sort of what I've been sharing with you guys has been that I see oil has been getting ready for quite a bit of a move to the downside. And the big thing about this weekly chart here, highs, lower highs, lower highs. In an upward trend, the most important part is the higher lows. And as you can see, we made higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and a higher low. Once we broke the low, now we went sideways. And then in a downward trend, the most important part is as long as we make these lower highs, and lower highs, a lot of people get the mistaking of, and there's another lower high recently. A lot of people have the mistaking of is that if we start to rally through here, now this is a weekly chart, so that's rallying for 2, 3, 4 weeks of a rally out of oil. The big mistake is they're not focusing on the weekly charts, and therefore they go long and then they get smashed. Right? Oh, look, the bottom's in on oil, and then they get smashed. So oil to me is taking its time, but we're building up. There's a building of pressure that's about to see this thing have a really big movement on the downside. Which again, if you're thinking of oil and energy sector together, just look at the chart, okay? Look at the chart for what it actually is. If you actually look at the start of 2022, you know that this chart has been on this chart here has been on a very big downward trend through here, right? Let's just look at the facts. This is the facts, right? So look at the facts, not what you think. If you're thinking this, well, then your thinking is wrong. And if your thinking is wrong, it's going to cause you to make the wrong decisions. It's going to cause you to lose money. I'm all about seeking the truth, and then so I can actually make good trading decisions. So we can see it's 2022. We've been on a big downward trend from here. If I bring XLE again, since 2022, what has been going on through here? Since 2022, we've actually been in a strong upward trend, and we're about to break up to an all-time new high. So you can see the energy sector and the oil market are not together. They are not together. And so I think if one of the biggest mistakes I'm seeing that amateur traders are making is they're trying to be smart in a way of correlating trades. Well, if oil's going to go down, therefore I'm going to go short the energy sector. And then even worse, they go one level deeper. They go, oh, well, if oil's going to go down, I'm going to go short the energy sector, but I'm not going to go short the energy sector. I'm just going to pick an energy stock, and I'm going to short an energy stock. Because I'm going to short the energy stock because the energy sector is probably going to go down because oil's going to go down. You see what you did just there? You're trying to... my mentor calls that trying to be smart in the markets. You're making it way too complicated. Okay, the foundations to someone that does well at trading is what? They go to the market and trade their system. See what I said with the energy sector today? This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my pattern, my setup to trade the markets. What did someone else just do there? Oh, well, I was going to go down, therefore I'm going to go short the energy sector, therefore I'm going to go short their stock. See how there's a massive disconnect between someone who does well out of trading and someone that does well out of trading, right? And I promise you, if you are looking at that correlation, like I'm looking for oil, the dollar's probably going to drop, so therefore gold's going to go up, therefore I'm going to go long gold right now. If that's your trading approach, you're going to be losing a lot of money all the time, right? And that's what I don't want from you guys. So just always look at the truth, okay, guys? Always look at the truth from what's really going on there. Anyway. Now let's go look at the gold market from here. Gold is still in a very big overall upward trend from here, guys. But I do see, just by looking at this daily chart here with gold, we can see here that we're now in no man's land, right? And this is something that I did see. This is something that I did see coming. Firstly, the drop, and then we get the rally. But I don't see gold. I don't think gold's going to have a big drop to the downside. But I just see gold probably not doing much now for the rest of this year. The bull market is over in gold, and I think it's going to have a bit of a resting phase, bit of a nothing phase, bit of a something like this now for 2 or 3 or 4 months before it decides what it wants to do when it comes to all that there. And then same for the silver market, right? Silver market has just been, there's been no real good correlation between what's going on through here. There's just been everything's just pretty flat through, as you can see, pretty flat, not much going on there. And we're just seeing this again, not really having there's just been nothing too clear here. Even from the weekly charts, there's been pretty lackluster from here. We started to try to get an upward move, but it's just been dead in the door now. And I'm seeing so many people focus on 2 different markets right now. That's gold and silver, right? And also Bitcoin, right? So if I go to the Bitcoin chart, this is the Bitcoin chart right now to the upside. We actually did come down through to here. I was actually expecting more of a drop, and we didn't actually get that. But we did come back down to this level, or we came up and we came back down. So looking at this level through here and looking at what's going on, let me bring on my 24 and my 9. You can see what's going on through here. So even after such a really big move to the upside, if we did get a little move to the upside, I believe it's going to be very short-lived. I don't expect a big crash out of Bitcoin, but I do see we're probably likely to see probably not much going on, or even just a little bit of retracement out of Bitcoin, only due to the fact that we've actually had such a big move to the upside. And we do know, if you just look at this chart, one thing you do know is from a trading perspective anyway, right? You can see when we start to get too far, when we start to go too vertical, and we start to get too far away from the moving average, we start to come back to it from there. So there we go, traders. That's what I wanted to share with you today. Hope that helps you out, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.